happy birthday, mate, I get from Damo after you.
Yeah. Damo,
So
that's not good.
that came at 4:08 today. Yours
Straight
came
after
at
I heard you
4:03.
at 4:08.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome, Purple.
Sorry, Jim.
You don't need to be
I think I
sorry.
remembered it last year, but I'm not good with mates' birthdays.
It's
actually.
not a day I celebrate
Yeah, I'm a bit
particularly,
the
so
same as
don't
you
worry
too.
about it. Yep, just, I'm happy for it to slide along.
When's your
good round
birthday?
of footy.
When's your birthday?
October.
Right.
Good round, Purple.
It was, Jim. Yeah, and look, for those who haven't caught up with it, 8 of the 9 matches were decided by 15 points or less, and the one blowout, in inverted commas, was a 35-point result to Hawthorn, but that game was 1 point in the difference at three-quarter time.
It was in the balance for a lot of it.
Yeah, it was a great round from that perspective. I think the comp needed it, didn't it? And it probably needed some of the results too that we got. And I'm referring probably mainly, Bill, unfortunately for Cats and you supporters, the re-emergence in the Geelong game of not just Jesse Hogan, because he's been good all year when he's been playing, but the Giants themselves. They'd taken in a 0-3 loss record in the previous 3 matches into that game and came out with a big win, which now sets them up.
And they were good. Let me tell you, that early on, the run, that orange tsunami or whatever they call it, that was magnificent.
It was back, wasn't it?
They were really, really good, and Hogan was outstanding, and they were running. But how do they? Some teams can't win one game down there at Team HBA.
Yeah.
They've won five in a row now.
It's extraordinary. Look, we'll touch
right in front of me, Damien.
On the issues with the Geelong and the negative part of the program today, but just to continue the focus on the Giants and particularly Hogan, he's only played the 6 of the 9 games, but he's kicked 25 goals in those 6, and obviously being the reigning common medalist and an All-Australian, he's still the number 1 man when it's all said and done.
Love him.
A bit like Bontempelli, just because he missed those early matches, other forwards, Rolly Thilthorpe being one, sort of started to make a move, but he's still the main man and deserves to have that status.
And
until
got the 10 coaches.
He deserves to get the 10, you mentioned the tsunami, Bill. Obviously, Tom Green and Callaghan, I thought were really good as part of it.
You know what Finn does? He kicks it so well.
Yep.
I reckon 3 times that Koning got caught in no man's land over the back, and Hogan standing. He took some really good marks, by the way, but I reckon he got 3 over the back.
Look, he would. I mean, we may as well go there now. He would have been loving the fact that Lawson Humphries was out, that Jack Henry was out, Cola Jasny was out, and obviously Stewart's out.
Stewart.
And then on top of that, Bunk Blitzarves then had to go and cover for Reece Stanley, who was also out in the ruck. So it left.
But having said
Sander
that, Damo,
Koning and O'Sullivan down there, and they're just not equipped. And it was heaven for Jesse Hogan in that regard.
Geelong only got themselves to blame. They should have won that. They had plenty of chances.
They did, and we'll touch on that in the negatives. I want to give again. I know we've done this regularly, and we'll do it again today. Tristan Cherry's form, Jim, particularly the last 3 weeks. Now he, without admitting it publicly, had a hamstring or a leg issue that he was carrying for some matches, and he didn't want excuses when he was just slightly off, but I think his last 3 weeks has been really good. He took on McInerney and Ford against the Brisbane Lions yesterday in Hobart and beat them easily. He got benefited by Todd Goldstein's the week before. Now, Goldstein fought that game out against Essendon. When they played Essendon, and he's only his second game for the year as a 36-year-old, but he still beat him, and he beat Jordan Sweet the week before. So he's been huge. He also got the 10 votes. Bill, the coaches have just come through, and he's actually second overall now to Connor Rosey on the coaches' votes.
He's been outstanding.
No, he's been very. Love Charlie Comben as well.
Yeah.
I think he's getting better and better, and it was nice to see LDU get back to what he does best.
Yes.
And Dane Sorko, speaking of old blokes, incredible
gets
career he's having.
He had his best year, I felt, in his life last year as a 35-year-old. Now he's 36, and he's gone
Even
at least
better.
as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
another positive to Richmond, who now has 3 wins from the 9 matches. Obviously, prior to West Coast result yesterday, they'd beaten Gold Coast and Carlton, and they're just finding storylines, aren't they, even within their re-emergence. And the storyline that did come big time out of the game yesterday was the chase down tackle of Tom Brown on Tom Gross. And look, I think the fact that Tom Gross decided to take a bounce 1.5 steps into his motion, that's just a young kid having that moment. But it was a significant play, and you know that this club will celebrate that moment. And it might even be, Bill, one of those ones when you do look back, and if they do get to another successful era, they may go back to this round 9 tackle of Tom Brown on Tom Gross to sort of say he's one of the turning points.
Even at the time, there's 3 blokes went to him and patted him on the head and all that. Tom Brown with us on Wednesday.
Good.
Bulb head's boy. Little Bulb.
That's right, he used to. Former teammate of yours.
Paul Brown.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah.
Good forward pocket.
So Tom Brown's, I reckon he's played every game
very
since he's come
nicely
in,
too.
and he kicks it well.
He
He's
does.
a very good, and he'd be a lovely boy. He'd be like his mum, Ange.
it's a prerequisite, isn't it, for what Richmond is doing to have people who are A, fast, and B, who can use the football.
They're going all right, are they?
Oh, they're going really well. Yeah, really well.
Did you know, Purple, just on that game, but as an extension out of that heading into this round, that I saw, I think it might have been Fox Footy released a fixture difficulty list. Have a guess who has received to this round finished?
Yeah.
The hardest draw of any club in the comp.
Let me guess.
Question
North
without
Melbourne.
notice.
No.
I don't know.
The West Coast Eagles.
Okay.
Who finished last?
Well, no, they had 5 wins last year, didn't they?
Or second last.
Yeah.
So how do they end up? North, by the way, are 16th hardest.
Right.
As in the third hardest.
Yeah.
But how do you hand the West Coast Eagles the hardest draw in the
But
comp?
aren't those two teams always going to have the hardest because they're the worst?
I was about to say the same thing.
No, but when you finish in the bottom 6, you should play other teams at the bottom 6 more than anyone else.
But they're still on the bottom.
But maybe it's the order in which those return matches come, I suppose. So
you would hope if you're West Coast, their draw is going to get easier.
Well, when you're a weak team, you haven't got much lobbying power at the AFL, and you need it to get the favourable draws, as maybe Gold Coast did. I feel where they appeared on that list.
Number 1.
As the easiest.
As the easiest
there you
draw
go.
of the lot.
That's why.
That-
and again,
it
they still
is
got to beat them. And
In Darwin.
yeah,
Right. They sold it, haven't they, for 2 games a year?
2 games a year, and it's I think we're 3 or 4 years into it now. I think
And
4
they
years.
haven't lost a game yet.
Well, it's 7 in a row now,
Yeah.
and they've got Hawthorn this coming Thursday.
But perfect for them because they play in those conditions anyway, and everyone else doesn't.
Yes.
So that is the perfect place for them to sell games to.
Well, we'll go there now because they did hold on from a late Western Bulldogs surge in this particular round of footy, and I thought Anderson was really good. Raoul's been better, I think, than him most of the season, but he's been great. And I just love the targeted recruiting of Daniel Rioli and John Noble, who were people that Damien Hardwick, about this time last year, went all in on with the approaches and the meetings he had, and we can see why, Bill, because it's transformed the way they play, and it's brought everyone with them. And I mean, Bailey Humphrey's going to be a player of the future, but he's also a player of the now because he had a big say in how that game unfolded and was crucial late in some of those moments. The showdown I'm just making as a collective, Bill. I know Adelaide beat Port Adelaide in the result. Showdown number 57, but it's the showdown itself that's the positive. It's just
Great game,
it just
again.
never ever fails to create a dramatic performance.
I agree.
The Crows are out. They're going to win that one easy.
Yeah.
And Port fought back, of
They
course.
did.
Yeah.
And I agree with the voters on the Showdown medal that Rosie was the best on ground, and the coaches also in their eyes felt that as well. But you can't take anything away from what Rolly Philphilp's doing, can
Big
you?
filthy.
Oh, big
He's
rolls.
3 goals, but just the way he plays and the weight that he throws around, all within the rules and bringing people back into it. And I thought Butters was great too for Port Adelaide. Rankin, though, he is sublime, isn't he, Jim? I mean, that's not a secret, but he is impacting. Also like the game of Bergman for the power in that one.
No, I'm hearing it, and I'm not disagreeing. Well done, Essendon, too, by the way.
They've won 5 of their last 6. That snuck up on us.
Since Chris Scott had that media briefing or media conference, Brad Scott maybe, and didn't use the word rebuild, but said everything but that, almost conditioning maybe supporters and the wider footy community that was going to be a long year. The only match they've lost since he said that in those 6 games is against Collingwood, where they actually hit the front in the third quarter of that Anzac Day anyway. So more unfortunate news, though, came with Lewis Hayes, who was drafted in 2022 and had toiled hard just to get a game with various injury, and then going down with what they confirmed yesterday officially as an ACL damage. That he obviously adds his name to the season-ending list.
Number 18, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looked like BJ. What number did he wear at Essendon? Brendan Goddard. I reckon he wore 18.
Remember it, didn't he? Yeah.
Geez, he looked like him.
Al Hurley was 18, so it wouldn't have been that.
Well, all right.
Anyway, we'll get
Nothing
to a break.
like him,
On that flattening note, just at the
I've
end
got
of the
something for
segment.
you too.
What
Right.
next?
Yes,
Morty
next.
wore 18.
I think he wore 9. Brendan Goddard.
At the Bombers?
Anyway,
You don't sound too...
No, I'm not sure.
We'll get
Hang
to a
on.
break and
You sure?
No, I'm not.
fire this thing back up next. We're going
So,
straight...
Fat first.
Oh,
Because I've got to talk to you
Do we work out what Goddard number was after
Yeah,
that? I
it
don't know
was
why they-
18 at St Kilda. That's
Okay.
why I got a bit
Yeah.
mixed up. But
So-
he looks like...
So not at Essendon, which Lewis Hayes was
yeah.
at Essendon.
he looks a bit like Lewis Hayes.
Right.
You'll get it one day. And I'm sure the Essendon supporters out there will be thinking you're spot on, Bill. I've got to talk to you too about Nath Brown. And he's
worried
about
him.
the top 5 money earners, right?
Yes.
And Jim, I don't know if you've heard this,
No, I haven't.
but apparently you are number 1.
And it's none other than our man here, James Brayshaw.
Oh, yeah, and
still
worth
there.
every cent.
So at Triple M, he's on $1 million.
Oh!
$1 million bucks. He does footy. He does cricket.
Bill will be flat.
He absolutely whitewashed Bluey and Bernie and Embers and took their role. So he's doing Rush Hour as his own entity at the moment. And at Channel 7, he calls the footy, he calls the cricket. There's the #1 man at Channel 7 still, $500,000 a year, $1.5 million a year for James Brayshaw.
1.5, but also number 5 on the list, him. Oh, Four Eyes on 650.
He just makes it up.
What
He
about
does make it up.
What
He
about
makes it
Fat?
up.
No,
Well,
Fat,
no,
you've
you
got a long way
qualified
back.
under the ex-player one, but I don't think you made it his top 5 the
He
previous
did.
week.
He did get a mention though.
I think Bill would be flat when he hears that Jim's getting $1 million a year.
What's Bill getting?
I don't know. What's Bill get for Rush Hour?
Steak and chips.
Oh, no. I'd take me 1,000 a week or something. I'd take me 1,000.
That's about
Per
right
diem.
for you.
Mate,
That's
what's going
about
on?
We put an idiot file together every week.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I
lucky to
stuff
be
it
on it.
up every week
You
just
do.
to get on that file.
Right.
1 million at Triple M, and you're on about 500 at Triple M.
Million. Now keep going,
Fair
Damo.
game.
He's chomping into your segment.
Just on, Browdy, he did a piece yesterday on the Sunday Footy Show, a special investigation into those 9 weeks where he claims he was the best player in the comp and
Well, he
actually
did not.
interviewed himself. He's not quite right.
No, he
Let's
isn't right.
move back to the positives. Hawthorn
Oh.
got to three-quarter time, were a point down, and then Sam Mitchell had a little bit of a go at his players, but they related to it, Jim. The paraphrasing of it was because I heard Jack Gunston post-match and then Lloyd Meek yesterday on the Sunday Footy Show basically say that Sam said to him, guys, you're playing quite boringly here, and liven this up. You're hard to coach. And then, to their credit, they then had I think it was a 5-goal 6-2, basically no-goal quarter, and it was just a continuation of a season where they haven't yet reached the exciting heights of last year, but they're 7-2, and they are so well positioned.
They
now.
are. And Jack Gunston, while we go to experienced
Yeah.
players playing well, is having a hell of a season, which
Yeah.
I love.
I agree. So, Bill, where is he officially now on the
Third, equal third on 23
Commons?
goals.
Yeah, given he missed and was, in fact, overlooked to play in his first 2 matches this year. So, good news there too. Kelsha Deer has now got through 3 VFL hitouts and could be a chance to play. Whether they choose to actually bring him back into this Darwin game on Thursday, up to the selectors.
Just
but,
be careful post-match interviewing old Kelsh if you're
Yes.
on a network.
He dropped the bomb didn't he, on your
Ferocious
show.
bomb on
Yeah.
this show.
It was a contextual bomb, though, wasn't it?
It was, but
Well, he
still,
didn't even
he
realise.
eased it out as beautifully as you've ever heard.
Didn't realise, kept going. We go, you just swore. He goes, oh, did I?
Lucky it was pre-recorded, Bill.
Exactly right.
That was live.
Oh, was it? Okay.
We finally did a live one.
Just on the positives, he didn't figure that prominently in the coaches' votes, but I don't care about them because I'm giving Jack Silvani a lot of love for what he's doing this year, but also against St Kilda on
Yes.
Thursday night, and the fact that he did it with, on that game, a badly broken hand, which required the cast to be placed around
Bit
it.
like Glenn Archer in the back half of his career. An alligator bit his hand
I
off.
was going to say, what happened
And
to
he's
his hand?
still
Tim?
going beautifully.
He got 1 vote. in the
Yeah.
coaches,
Again, I still can have a view on the football bill that he was worth more than 1 vote in that particular game. I loved what Mackay's doing too with the 2 of the 3 wins, big wins they've had in the past 3 weeks. He's impacted them
Yes.
late in
Yes.
them and kicked
Kicked a
goals.
Good goal.
Just to sign off on the round, Jamie Elliott 6 goals, which has him nicely prominent too. Bill on the Coleman medal board. He's got 22 goals now from the 6 goals out of the weekend.
His last 3
Nicholas-
weeks have been outstanding.
Haven't they? Yeah. And the
Nearly
fact
his
that Mychek was out of that game and also McStay already out of
It's
that
a
game.
good win by Colin.
The combination and the way that he and Bobby Hill can work through moments, I love it because I reckon they've got high-end footy brains, those two. And I
They
think opening that forward line up is actually a major positive for them.
Right, negatives?
Negatives?
Oh, haven't we done negatives yet?
No, we'll start with Geelong because of the 5-4 scoreline they've got. We mentioned before the 4 key players out of their back line and Blitzarves being required to ruck on the back of Stanley being injured. It's a back line now that's had to be led by Sam De Koning and O'Sullivan, and they're just not, clearly, when it's a good opposition as Jesse Hogan and initially Jakey Stringer were, they're not up to it, and that's the problem. So the big win against Hawthorn in round 6 was followed by a loss to Carlton, and then the big win in round 8, Bill, was followed by a loss to GWS. So, yeah, win-loss, and eroding some of the good out of those big wins.
Yeah,
so
spot on.
They're well placed, and there's reasons for what happened yesterday, but they equally had chances that they didn't capitalise on.
3 Blakes missed goals. Should have kicked.
Now, people might think I'm still harsh on North by putting them in the negatives here, but
Oh,
they
they
didn't
come
win,
out.
Jim.
Go in there.
They didn't win.
Oh, my God. It's
And they had their
honestly,
chances,
it's-
Jim.
You've become like Corn.
No, I haven't.
You have. You and Kane have got a target
Cynics.
on North Melbourne's
I would
back.
just like to watch a win with my son, who's now my two sons at 21 and
48.
19, and the last time he saw a win when I was with him was about 4.
They
I reckon. So-
cannot go into the negatives this week.
Anyway, they had chances last week against Essendon, failed to take them. They had probably more chances against Brisbane Lions yesterday. Constanti, I don't know what he was doing when he tried to bring the ball in late, and equally there were some other issues there too. So we'll see what happens Sunday, because they really need to be building this game up against Richmond. So that's the reason they're in the negative, Jim.
God.
They need to look
There's this
at Sunday.
corn-esque the
No,
way
it's
you're
not.
carrying
Don't,
on.
in fact, that's an offence. Don't say that. I take
Good.
offence at
If
you
you're,
saying that.
if you're taking offence, that's good.
That's true.
All right, what else?
Well, they've got to beat Richmond on Sunday.
Right,
Because
I
just
see.
to remind people, they traded out their first round pick to Richmond last year during last year's draft,
gone-
Bill.
he's
So
gone
their
again.
pick, their
Yeah.
pick
Doubling
is
down.
already owned by Richmond.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, come on. I'm
My
with you,
girl
Damo.
Sandy down
Yeah.
at Dramana, she'll park the car and come after you if you're not bloody smarten up.
Who was
Get
that?
in
Sandy?
line.
My girl Sandy loves is mad kangas.
Got to get in line
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
who have
my
we?
family's already queuing up, Jim.
Yes.
Yeah. West Coast, again, bit like North, have had chances. They had
Low
chances against
hanging
Essendon.
fruit.
No, they're still losing
Can't
matches.
get any lower. It's hit me in the head.
Oh, sorry, Bill. They're 0-9. Have you checked the ladder?
Yeah. Well, how many games did you think they were going to win, Damo, this
More
year?
than the 0 at this stage.
Hardest draw in the league.
They had
Hardest
five, they
draw.
won 5 matches
Exactly.
last year.
Well said, Raps.
Yeah.
Got a hard draw,
Also
apparently.
endured the hardest draw in the comp.
I'll just remind you what Bill said, Jim. When you finish last, every game's hard.
Have a
Yeah.
listen to fat.
Yeah.
All right.
Sydney, okay, a
should be
serious,
on
a
more money.
serious negative.
No, you
Sydney at 3 and 6 is emerging as a genuine issue and worry now. So
Blues
obviously,
Friday night.
Blues Friday night
At home.
Yeah, their forward line is a mess, and we know there's a reason for that. Papley's not part of it. McDonald hasn't had a game yet this year, and Amati's not there. But they're not functioning. They had their chances against Essendon, Bill, failed to take them, and they cannot get back Goulden and Papley quick enough. And Goulden is still some time away, given how serious that ankle injury was. Melbourne, same scoreline, 3 and 6, lost to Hawthorn. Well, okay for 3 quarters. The role of Viney playing on John Newcombe, I didn't mind it, but it's not going to take them anywhere when it's all said and done. One of their premium players in the history of the footy club, now sort of effectively consigned to the run with or tagging
You know
role,
who's
which
a
I didn't
star?
mind in the game, but
Yeah.
they can't do it every week.
Weddle, isn't he a star?
Yeah.
He can play anywhere.
Yeah, he can.
Run. Keep
Yep.
going, Damo. You're nearly there.
Nearly there. St Kilda, again, I just feel and we did touch on this, I felt they failed to capitalise on the situation that was at Carlton when McGovern went off to hospital. And then
Is he all right, by the way?
He is all right, yeah.
He'll
yeah.
play
I'm
this
keen
week.
to see what Charlie Curnow says about him being
Yes.
all right. But he went to hospital and it was serious enough at the time for that to be the case. Cowan was out as well. They had an unknown status on Akers and Haynes there for a period of time as well. St Kilda just didn't hit the go button when they had the chance to, particularly in that third quarter, when they had a chance to sort of debrief at halftime and make the most of the Carlton situation. They didn't. They failed to. And I reckon time over again, Ross might have hit the go button then and had properly seen what could happen.
Update on Jamara.
Yeah, got into a health retreat as of this week, Bill. I mean, we've felt for some time now he's not playing for the Western Bulldogs this year and probably not playing for them even beyond this year, despite being contracted. But from a personal point of view, given it's personal reasons he's missing for, to take himself away from Melbourne, where there has been some distractions, it must be said, initially last year and then even this year, away from football, just to get himself into a retreat.
Okay.
All right. Nicely
Well
done,
done.
Purple. Good to see you always.
Likewise.
See you,
Alex Carey's just said a
$650,000.
happy
Made that
birthday,
number.
mate. There's another one
forgot
who
too.
forgot
Yeah.
yesterday.
If you've got Jim's number, send him a text. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
It's his
me Henry.
birthday.
Did Bluey text you?
No, he rang me.
Oh, okay.
You can hear
So
Damo's
did
part of
I.
the midweek rub on Wednesday as well. It's the Rush Hour Triple M.